What is going on, everyone? My name is Andy. Welcome back to another FPL video. And today, I say today, I mean, we've already had a video out today, but in this one, we're going for a kind of FPL team reveal, right? So I've made my transfers already. I actually made my transfers on Thursday evening. I put up a post on Patreon, like as part of the any tier that you'll sign up on Patreon, right? I do the team reveals as and when I make the transfers. Sometimes I don't make the transfers till late, and I just have to say, look, I'm probably going to do this. But for this particular one, I had made the transfers. I had activated my triple captainship. So that post went out yesterday. So I'm doing a team reveal for this week. I'm not going to do this every single week. Sometimes it's just a boring transfer. But for this one, it's quite exciting. It's double game week 26. I've made I've transferred 4 players out, transferred 4 players in. Of course, I'm going to talk through that, and I am considering a -12. I did tweet that out. That is genuine. I'm not just like putting that out. Oh, I'm considering a -12, but I'm not really going to do it. I'm not sure if I'm going to. I'm going to talk through my thoughts on that in just a second. But I'm basically going to do this in one take. And just do it kind of live-ish. So yeah, give it a like if you enjoy it. It's a team review, right? Everyone likes them. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. We're so close to 150k. It's actually ridiculous, considering the target was 100,000 by the end of the season, and now we're pushing 150,000 before the season's even ended. Anyway, this is the team, right? So I have made 4 transfers. What are they? As I try and remember, David De Gea out for Fabry, right? So that's obviously like a money making move, taking some money off my bench. Ben Mee to Burn. Now I could have gone for one of the Fulham defenders, which I may regret, right? If one of the Fulham defenders gets an attack and return and a clean sheet against Palace, I will regret that quite heavily because they do play in 29 as well. But Dan Burn's got a better fixture in 29, and he takes even more money off my bench, right? One of the things I've been doing since Game Week 18 is, I wouldn't say struggling at all, right? Because I've got plenty of green arrows, but I've always had that doubt in my mind about my bench, about having too much money on there, and at some point that hurting my moves going forward. So this whole week, this -8, it's not just about bringing in Kane, who's in, unsurprisingly. It's about moving my squad structure around a little bit as well. So I've done De Gea to Fabry, Ben Mee to Burn. That was kind of the moves to fund it. Grealish to Gundogan. Now, I did do that before the Grealish news. I don't know. I spoke to Neil earlier on in the team news, and he was kind of saying that he thinks there's perhaps more to it than what Dean Smith is letting on. And I kind of had the same feeling as well, which is why I did the move early before I heard. He's going to be out for Leeds. He might be back for Sheffield United. Let's see if that actually happens. But Grealish went down to Gundogan. Now, is Gundogan the best attacker to own from Man City? Especially considering they've got 2 games this week and 2 games next week, right? Maybe that should actually be our priority right now, is getting in Kevin De Bruyne. But I have this slight doubt over his match fitness, right? And the funny thing is, I saw a quote from Pep Guardiola on the Man City Twitter account that said he's fit, he's fully fit. And I feel like maybe he was asked because he was rested in the Champions League game, right? I don't know where the question came from, but it's almost like he's trying too hard to say that he was definitely fit. I'm sure he is, right? I don't expect Pep Guardiola to be lying about it. And Kevin De Bruyne did get rested early on in the season, right, when it came to Champions League games. So maybe that was it, just to keep him fresh for the league. But I have got my eye on him still. But I just thought I'd have to bring Gundogan back. His value is just so good. I should have done Grealish to Gundogan last week. I didn't. I did. I kept Grealish, and I did Gundogan to Rafinha, which was a good move, right? Gundogan blanked, and Rafinha got a double-digit haul. But I could have just done the Grealish move 1 week early and not needed an extra transfer this week. It is what it is. I've cost myself 4 points. I can't dwell on that now. What's been done has been done, right? So Grealish to Gundogan, that's obviously also saved money. So me, De Gea and Grealish out all saved money. And then a pretty big upgrade was Chris Wood to Harry Kane. Obviously, I don't want to get rid of Bamford because of Game Week 29. Antonio also has a Game Week 29 fixture, but plays in 27 against Leeds as well. So he's a pretty good pick too. So I think the team looks okay. I'm not completely happy with it, because I've had to take a -8 and I still only have 9 double game week players. But I left myself in that position by doing Gundogan to Rafinha last week, right? It should have been Grealish to Rafinha. I would have saved myself a transfer, like I just said. And perhaps I'd only be playing 10 double game week players. I think a lot of people are probably in this situation, where they have to play one of Bamford or Rafinha. I've actually seen people kind of struggling to choose who to change or who to bench out of the two. So in some ways, I've got less of a headache because I'm definitely going to play both. I'm not going to play Antonio instead. Sorry if you just saw the mouse go there. I'm trying to get ready to do some tinkering. And obviously, I'm not going to play Burn or Dallas ahead of any of the double game weekers either. I mean, this is template, right? Part of the thing with wildcarding so early is you have less transfers to be different. It's not that I can't bring in differentials, but someone that's wildcarding soon or in 31 can maybe afford to be a bit more ruthless with the way they play. Also, the situation is right now that a lot of players that are template are just good this week, and they are just good until game week 29, and therefore I don't really need to force them out, right? Son and Kane have good fixtures this week, good fixture in 27, they play in 29, good fixture in game week 30. They're just good holds, right? They've got good fixtures, and there's no reason to get rid of them. Fernandes is someone I've considered getting rid of, but as I spoke about in the team selection video, if I'd done that, I still would have had to take a -8 because I would have had to deal with Grealish anyway. So if I was going to take a -8 anyway to get Kane, which I was pretty sure I always wanted to do, taking Fernandes out and still leaving myself with De Gea and Ben Mee to deal with later on just didn't seem like the right way around of doing it. I do have my eyes on potentially shipping Bruno Fernandes next week, but it feels like there's slightly less risk because next week he just plays Man City, and this week I'm not necessarily expecting anything against Chelsea, but that Crystal Palace fixture is really good. So I kind of want to keep him, right? And it is almost shoring myself up against all those people that are going to captain him. Obviously, if he comes through and outscores Kane, that's really going to hurt. I'm going to get a red arrow, big red arrow because of it. But I'm hoping that he just does well. Man United win both games, but he maybe only gets like a few points. That would be the ideal situation from an FPL point of view. Otherwise, yeah, looking pretty good. I think Cancelo and Stones... Is there question marks now over Stones going forward? I mean, Laporte has started a lot of games in recent times. I think some people were saying over the last 10 that he started more than Stones in all competitions, possibly because of FA Cup and stuff like that. But maybe going forward, that's something I think about. I think with Man City players in general, you're kind of looking for a max of like 3 starts out of the next 4 games, so over the next 2 game weeks. I'd be pretty happy with that. Perhaps players like Gundogan and De Bruyne might start all 4 if we're lucky, but we're obviously going to have to wait and see. Martinez, okay, Aston Villa, no Grealish. They're not going to be as good. They're also missing Matty Cash as well, but I think the fixtures are good enough that I was obviously going to keep him over David De Gea. And ultimately, I didn't really want to double on Man United defence for much longer. I've got Wan-Bissaka. There is definitely better double game week defenders this week. Luka Dean, Pereira, etc. But to be completely honest, right, could Arsenal score against Leicester? Yes. Luka Dean, okay, Southampton and West Brom is about as good as it gets going forward for this double game week. But in terms of defensive returns, Everton aren't the best. I mean, if you're going to get any clean sheets, then Southampton and West Brom are probably a good place to start. But Wan-Bissaka could get a clean sheet against Chelsea if that game's tight. If not, Crystal Palace without Zaha, I don't think he's going to be back for that game. But basically what I'm trying to say is I'm hoping that Wan-Bissaka gets at least 1 clean sheet. And if he can get some bonus along the way, potentially he could keep up with some of these popular wildcard picks in Game Week 26 like Luka Dean, Ricardo Pereira, Castagna, etc. I know it's, if I had the choice, obviously I would have Luka Dean instead. But if he could just keep up or get very close, that'd be good for me. I don't know if I'm expecting a big green arrow. I think I have to have a lot of things going my way. I've got so many template players. I basically have to try and overtake those that aren't triple captaining. But I think because of the way I've played it with the wild card, I have to be happy with even just a small green arrow this week. If it's even bigger than that, happy days. But I'm not sure it will be. Just quickly touching on the -12 that I talked about earlier. So it suddenly came into my head that I could just buy Watkins, because he has Leeds away, Sheffield United away, potentially a double game week in 28 as well, which I know we keep talking about that. We don't know if it's definitely going to happen, but it could do. And he also plays in 29. So if I bought him in instead of Bamford, he's got 2 games this week instead of 1, potentially 2 games in 28 instead of 1 as well. And I would argue slightly better fixtures. But, of course, the -4 negates any, the first goal that Watkins gets. So he then probably has to score I don't know. If Bamford gets a goal against Villa, it's probably very tricky for Watkins to repay the hit this week, I'd say. If he gets a double in 28, like if we knew right now that Watkins was definitely doubling in 28, then I would probably make the move. I've seen some rumours on Twitter that he's not fit, right, and he could be injured, but I don't know how true they are. It doesn't seem as concrete as the Grealish news last week seemed to be, even though I didn't pay attention to it in the end. Or I don't get rid of Bamford, and I do Antonio to Watkins. Similar situation, double game week this week, maybe one in 28. Also plays in 29, although he does play against Spurs, so it's not the greatest fixture. But even if I did Antonio to Watkins, it would let me keep Bamford, but I would have to bench one of him or Rafinha. So I'm paying 4 points to get rid of one of my strikers that's playing in game week 29 anyway, to then bench one of Bamford or Rafinha and hoping that the -4 pays off, if that makes sense. I'm still tempted by it, but unless we get 100% assurity that Watkins is fit, that's just going to put me off. I just think because it's Leeds away and Sheffield United away, they are two defences that I would want to target. I know Grealish being out is going to be, not great for Villa, right? And they probably won't play as well as they have been. But, if Grealish isn't there to create chances, someone else will create them. I know they won't create as many. They won't be as good as Grealish, right? I fully get that. But Villa are just not going to completely stop scoring goals, you would think. And Watkins is going to be right at the forefront of that. So that's the -12 that I was considering. But as it stands, I've taken a -8. De Gea, Ben Mee, Grealish, Wood out. Fabry on the bench. Obviously, not even going to play for Fulham, but whatever. Burn, third bench, even though he's playing West Brom. Gundogan in, and then Kane, triple captain. I have zero doubts about Kane triple captain. I'm actually feeling quite calm. Like last week's deadline stream was a killer for me. I won't lie. I wasn't 100% sure what I was going to do, and I only figured it out towards the end. This week I've done the transfers. My triple captain's locked in. I'm not going to change it. I've seen the quotes about Vinicius from Mourinho saying that he will play Premier League games because Kane can't play them all. But when we talk about Harry Kane not playing them all, we are talking about a player that over the last 7 seasons when he's been fit has pretty much played every single game. He's just played 3 90 minutes in a row. He's had a rest in the Europa League. He ain't missing that Burnley game. And then do we think he's going to miss the Fulham game before a game against Crystal Palace? They've got to play 3 Premier League games before they play Europa League. Do we really think Kane's going to miss one? I know he's only just back from injury, but he's just done 3 games in a row in the league. So I'm not particularly worried about that quote. For all the same reasons I spoke about in the captaincy, Salah and Fernandes both have to play Chelsea. It's not an easy game. I think Kane's got easier games, even if they're not kind of Southampton, West Brom like Everton. And I just feel like he can get something in both those games. Of course, I'd love 25 points. But even if he got like a 9-pointer in one and a 12-pointer in the other, that's 20 points, 21 points, happy days. Even if he gets 9 and 9, that's 18. I would absolutely snap your hand off for that, right? I've never got more than 9 points into 27 from my triple captain. So no doubts about that. I think the bench is set. I could put Antonio third sub because he's playing Man City, but he's such a good attacker. I'm probably going to put him first. Then Dallas, then Burn. And that is it. I don't think there's going to be any more changes unless I get a massive urge to do Antonio to Watkins. But like I said, I would need to see 100% sure, like a surety that he's going to be fit. I don't think we're going to get that. So I'll leave it there. Somehow I've managed to talk about 14 minutes about my transfers. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Obviously, it was just a bit of a quick team reveal. I don't usually do, but I thought it was good for this week to get my thoughts across and just confirm what I've done. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a like. Hit subscribe if you're new. I'll have a deadline stream tomorrow around 10:15-ish in the morning. And I'm doing a watch-along. Hopefully I'm doing a watch-along. I've got to check with the missus. 2 o'clock on Sunday for Harry Kane versus Burnley. First game of the triple captaincy. I want to watch it, so hopefully I'll be live at 2 o'clock. Otherwise, I'll leave that video there. Give it a like. Hit subscribe. See you soon.